Richie, I think I'm falling in love with you.
Yeah, give me Hollycourt, 55377. Hello, it's Daddy. Hey, darling, put Mommy on the phone. Yeah, Barbara, it's Richie. Yeah, look it, I ain't never coming home no more. Take it easy.
Hello. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Professional Nomad Podcast. Thank you all for joining me this afternoon. It is a beautiful afternoon here where I'm at. It feels great outside. Hope it feels the same where you're at. We have now crossed over 170 subscribers. I want to send a special shout out to Richie Mack and the Zoom tribe that came through for your boy on a major note. So I want to say thank you to him because he didn't have to do that. He showed a lot of love. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna show my support over there later on his stream when he comes on. He's got a show coming on around 10 o'clock tonight, Central Standard Time. So make sure you guys go over there and subscribe and check out Zoom to Thailand. He has excellent content over there, excellent content creator. I also want to give a good shout out to the lead attorney for giving me a shout out on his broadcast yesterday. We're content creators. We're all the same. So we're all trying to do the same thing. So we all must support each other the best way we can, as much as we can. In this space, it takes collaboration, and we need to do that as much as possible. We cannot accomplish things by ourselves. Now, today, fellas, we got something to talk about. Now, I know everyone is abreast and aware of what's going on with the Fani Willis situation. The Fani Willis and Nathan Wade affair has really been talked about a lot. So today, we got to talk about this as men, because I should have titled this stream The Destruction of Nathan Wade, because how this man has literally destroyed not only his career, but his professional image, damaged his career, his family, everything, all over some snatch and some money. This reminds me so much of this scene from Harlem Nights. This is why I played it in the beginning of the video. Because soon as this man fell in love with Sunshine, he left his whole family. And this resembles something what Nathan Wade did. So today we're gonna do a blind reaction to the Nathan Wade testimony to just show you how he pretty much destroyed himself, and how to prevent other people from making the same mistake, all in the name of money. If you heard me say this before, you know, you should always remember it. All money ain't good money. Now, don't get me wrong. We do what we do to get paid, especially on this space as content creators. Don't get me wrong. But there are consequences that we must suffer that come attached to certain decisions that we make. And in one of the reaction videos I did to Kevin Samuels, the most important phases of life, being that the other day was Kevin Samuels' birthday, I really felt like it was important that I touched on this topic, because in one of the videos, he touched on why it's important to select the right type of woman in your life, and why at a certain age you need to be making certain decisions. Now, I can't speak for Nathan Wade. I'm not Nathan Wade. But speaking from experience, I've damaged some relationships before. I'm not a perfect man. I'll never say that on this space. And I don't think no one else should ever try to claim that they're a perfect man either, or a perfect woman. But what he just did, all in the sake of money and publicity, has put his whole career in jeopardy. I don't think he'll ever be able to practice law again, put it that way. They're going to come for his license. They're already coming for Fani's license. If you just watch the lead attorney's live stream, you'll see they've already submitted a complaint to the bar for Fani. He's next. On top of that, he's profited $1 million from this case. Hasn't even done any work really yet. And he's going through a divorce. And he hid the money. When he hid the money, that made it even worse, because they found out he hid the money. They found out that he accepted a position the day before he filed for divorce. Now, I understand that he's claiming that his marriage was irretrievably broken and they agreed to stay together for the kids. But if you did not file, you have to, fellas, you have to handle your business. There's no excuse. Handle your business. You must finish what you start. If you are going to be married, then be married. This is my opinion, because this is what's coming back to haunt Nathan right now. Legally, the man was still married. So legally, his wife is entitled to everything she's going to get from him in the state of Georgia. In the South, they don't show no love to adulterers, especially in states like Georgia and Tennessee, where I'm from. So him hiding that money, that's only going to make the judge go even harder on him. Now, if I'm correct, they've agreed to some sort of alimony payments because the woman is supposedly sick, and how he went about things is a little sketchy. Like, they dropped their kid off at college supposedly, and when they made it home, he filed for divorce. Okay. Now, being a man who studied law for all these years, and I don't see how it makes any common sense. Sometimes common sense ain't that common. Because how in the world did he think that in a real world situation that he was going to be able to divorce his wife, file paperwork, accept a position prosecuting the ex-president of the United States, and his wife's attorneys were not going to put this together? Hello? So help me understand this. So what I'm gonna do today, we're gonna do a blind reaction, like I said, to this testimony of Nathan Wade. But I'm gonna also drop the link today. If you want to come up here and discuss it, you can. The rules for you coming up here discussing this, though, you must be professional. You must talk and watch your language. You have to. This isn't that type of live stream. We don't do that over here. We can discuss it, but you got to mind your manners. All right. But we have to do better because as men, especially as Black men, we are looking bad right now in the world. We look bad. We look bad. I mean, and this man literally just got on one of the biggest stages in the world and was laughing and smiling on trial, thinking that it was cute because I really don't have no words to explain it. But we're going to get into it. And I'm going to be pausing it here and there just so we can comment on it. Like I said, I'm gonna drop the link so people can come up and we'll talk about it. First, let's see who we got in here. As always, the beautiful Lakikina. Hello, Nomads. Welcome to another episode of the Professional Nomad Podcast. Gracias. All right. So we're going to do the reaction now. The Do Better Podcast. Theo Coop. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Thank you for attending my live stream, my man. Appreciate you coming through here. I heard a lot of great things about you from Andre. Heard you got a great show. Thank you for the support. Y'all guys, make sure y'all subscribe to the Do Better Podcast with Theo Coop. Now let's get into it.
And during the course from your marriage, the period of time up to the present. So the answer would have been, yes, I did entertain somebody, correct?
During the course of the marriage, no.
Mr. Wade.
Mr. Gillen, I think we've made our point. I think it speaks for itself, and we can save that for argument.
I'll just follow up with one quick question. Do you understand what the word present means?
Your Honor, that's been asked of us.
I think we did cover that already as well.
Okay. Now, what has happened from the time that you filed this court document in May of 2023, let's go over some of the things that you had been involved in terms of being entertained or entertaining. Prior to your filing on the answer on the interrogatories on May the 30th, 2023, we've already established, have we not, that you had paid for a Royal Caribbean cruise to the Bahamas with Miss Willis, correct?
Yes, sir, with Miss Willis and my mother.
Well, your mother's not part of this interrogatory. I'm talking about Miss Willis, okay? So you paid and caused to be paid approximately $3,335 on that trip, Bahamas trip, from October the 28th through October the 31st, correct?
Your Honor, objection. I think we've said this ground several times already.
Mr. Gillen, let's cover new ground.
Well, I'm just trying to establish with specificity the things that he had done to entertain or be entertained prior to May the 30th, 2023. I'll try to move through it
Sure.
quickly.
Well, that's already part of the record in terms of his prior testimony, and so if you want to link those two things together, you can do that during argument.
Well, so let me discuss this. You indicated that during the course of your explanation concerning the Belize trip, that Miss Willis paid you all that money back in cash. Remember?
Yes, sir.
Now, The Belize trip had just happened, hadn't it? That occurred in March 18th, 2023, right?
Yes, sir.
So you're filing this maybe 2 months after you have gone to Belize with Miss Willis, correct?
Again, I believe all of this is our.
I think you might be getting somewhere new. We'll see.
Yes, sir.
So we've got the trip in to Belize on March the 18th, 2023. You and Miss Willis, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, 2 months later, you file the interrogatories that speak for themselves that we've gone over a few minutes ago, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, the March the 18th, 2023, to state the obvious, is before May the 30th, 2023. Will you agree with me on that?
I do.
Okay. So then you tell us that Miss Willis paid you in cash all the money for the entire trip. It was a gift for you for your birthday, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I'm sure you probably have the deposit slips where you took the cash and deposited the cash into your account, don't you?
I did not deposit the cash in my account.
You don't have a single solitary deposit slip to corroborate or support any of your allegations that you were paid by Mrs. Willis in cash, do you?
No, sir.
Not a single solitary one.
Not a one.
Now,
Hold on. Let me stop it right here. Bro. What are you smiling for? This is the point right here. What are you smiling about? What's so fucking funny, man? Do you realize how embarrassing this is? What's so funny, man? Jesus Christ, dude. What's so funny? What is so fucking funny, man? What is so funny? Look at this idiot. Look at the face of the dude that is prosecuting the ex-president of the United States. What's so funny? Fellas, you ever been in a situation where somebody's been grilling you and asking you questions? The quickest way for you to be found out as a liar is to do exactly what he's doing right here. This is pure arrogance. This is pure arrogance right here. What is so funny that you literally are up here smiling and laughing on TV? Look at this. You need to always make sure, and I've said this before, that you maintain a professional image no matter what's going on. Always. I don't care what's going on out here. The worst thing you can do is laugh in someone's face when they're trying to grill you about something. You're proving the point. You can pretty much tell who got street sense and who don't got street sense. Because this is serious. You should be sitting up here with a straight face like, this guy's literally up here smiling like he's about to audition for the role of the Joker. Come on, man. You are in charge of prosecuting the ex-president of the United States for election fraud. This is being broadcast internationally. And you're laughing? Come on, man. This damages our image as professional black men out here because look at how arrogant this man is on trial in this courtroom. Like he has done nothing wrong. when we've seen his messed up records of billing, block billing, no itemized statements proving his work, and he's laughing. He's laughing. Look at him. Laughing. What the fuck is so funny? Dude. I ain't a perfect man, like I done said 1,000 times, and I'll never try to make it seem like I'm a perfect man. But Jesus Christ, bro. Have some dignity about yourself. You ain't got away with it yet. You want to laugh about it. Laugh when it's over with. Laugh behind closed doors. Don't laugh in the public eye, you idiot. What is funny? If I was a lawyer, I would ask them, what's funny? They just kept asking. They're old men. They barely could get their questions out. I would have asked him, what's so funny? It doesn't seem like he's taking it serious at all. And I really appreciate you coming through here, man. Didn't you just hit 100K, bro? You just hit 100K, right? Man, salute to you, bro. I think you just hit 100K if I'm correct, man. Hey, you just keep on pushing, man. You keep on doing your thing, man. You know, it's people like you that's giving me the energy to keep on putting out this content the best way I can, man. You know, we started with nothing, but now we're here. So you just got to make sure that you are, you know, you keep doing what you're doing. It's you and other brothers that are, you know, leading the example for people like me and other content creators just trying to make this space a better place, man. So thank you, Theo, for coming through here. Once again, subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're dropping content. We've crossed the 170 subscriber mark. We're trying to run it up. Please make sure that you hit that like button. Please make sure that you hit that like button. Please make sure that you are subscribed. Please make sure that you keep going through here and subscribe to a lot of these guys' videos, because once you subscribe, you can then see these videos in real time. Either you can be able to watch them on the replay, or you can subscribe and hit the notification bell. When you hit the notification bell, the notification bell lets you know right then and there when the video is going to come, 30 minutes before it comes, an hour before it comes, and it actually lets you know when they go live. So subscribe, hit the notification bell. Also, leave comments. Leave comments. Also, like you see in my banner below, guys, if you see content that you want to see reviewed on this channel, email me. I'll take a look at it. That's the best way to contact me is by email. You see something you want us to, you know, chat about on here, send me an email. Also, all my socials are on here, so you can find the content on all of these socials, right? Also, we got the audio formats coming soon too. I got a lot of podcast platforms to upload them to, so we're really gonna be doing this. You know, we're just trying to carry on great conversations. Look, guys, this isn't Dateline NBC. This ain't 60 Minutes. This is not any of those type programs. We are just having great conversations. That's all it is. And for something like this is going to be like we're in the barbershop. We're going to talk about it. We're going to keep it real. And we're going to give our honest opinion on it at all times. That's what we do over here at this channel. And that's what we're going to continue to do. We're building a foundation for other people to be able to come on YouTube and speak their mind and speak freely without hesitance. All right. Also, the Nomad Worldwide WhatsApp group. I'm going to be taking names soon. So everybody stay aware of that. And one of the perks of my memberships once I become monetized is you will automatically be added to the Nomad Worldwide group. So once this channel is monetized, guys, and you subscribe to a membership, you will automatically be added to the Nomad Worldwide group, WhatsApp group. In that group, it's only business only. So if you got a channel and you want to post videos in there, that's what you do. We don't post memes. We don't do all that. Only thing we're going to do in that group is support each other as content creators and present each other with legitimate business opportunities, right? So that goes on an international scale. So if someone in the Philippines knows something that a brother from the States can take advantage of, he can put it in that group. That's what we're going to do. And the group will be free. Now, if you subscribe to this channel and you get a membership, you're automatically added. But that's not until we are monetized. We're not monetized yet, but we're going to get there. Let's get back to this video. This guy here is smiling. I can't believe it. It frustrates me. Hold on.
When Miss Willis would pay you in cash, would you scamper down to the ATM with her and she drew money out of her account
Your
to
Honor,
pay you these thousands of dollars?
Mr. Gillen might scamper, but there's been no evidence that Mr. Ray does. I object to the phrasing, the argumentative nature of the question.
On that issue, overruled.
Look how they talk to you. No respect to you as a lawyer, a fellow attorney, right? Talk to you like you're in the same class as Lil Rick and them on the corner. Y'all scampering on down the corner down there. What? Look how they talk and you smiling. Man, come on, man.
Did you and Miss Wade scamper down to the ATM machine and have her dry out? For example, on the Belize trip, just on your payment would have been $2,794.
Miss Wade,
For clarity, yeah, thank you.
Pardon me?
Miss Wade and I didn't go to Belize.
No, excuse me, Miss Willis. I'm sorry. Did you go down to the ATM with Miss Willis while she drew out $2,794 to pay you in cash? That you did Did you go to the ATM with her?
No, sir. She didn't go to the ATM. She carried the cash.
Oh, and so she would give you the cash. Did you have a little place in your house where you just stack up all this cash that you apparently got to repay you for these benefits that you bestowed on her?
And Mr. Gillen, if I answered that, I'm putting myself in jeopardy. If I tell the world that I have cash someplace in my home, don't you think that could be problematic?
No, I don't. I want an answer as to whether or not you have a little cash hoard in your house where you have allegedly taken the money that you got from Mrs. Willis and went and put it somewhere. Where'd you put it?
No, sir.
Now, just put it on the hip and kind of walk around money?
Did I put it on my hip
Yeah, just walking around money where you would spend cash yourself?
Let me finish. Did I put it on my hip in Belize and walk around with it?
When you got paid back, would you take the money, the cash that she gave you, and would you just carry it around with you for spending money around town?
So we have to break down each trip because, for example, for the cruise, she paid me the money before we took the cruise. So I was here and I could put the money in my pocket or put it away wherever I wanted to do with it. Other trips, she would give me the money there. So at that point, I could either spend it or put it in my pocket or put it in the hotel safe.
There's no special place that you would have all this cash that you would be getting from her that you've told us about to pay back for the benefits that you have bestowed on her?
The only special place that cash would have gone would have been to one of my children.
Okay. Now, are you aware, have you discussed these pleadings with Miss Willis?
So defined, I don't believe that's an accurate reflection of the testimony, and I don't think that's an appropriate question.
I think overruled. You can answer the question.
Okay. When you said proceedings, are you talking about the divorce proceedings? Because we were talking about the interrogatories. To that question, the answer is no. If you're go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead with your answer. I'll hear the complete answer, then I'll follow up.
Okay. If you're asking me about this hearing, the proceedings of this hearing, have we discussed the financial piece based upon Mr. Roman's motion? Yes.
So you have discussed the financial piece. Where did that discussion take place?
Conference room.
Were you other people there, or were you and Ms. Willis discussing this about what your position was going to be?
Relevance of this.
Mr. Gillen?
And the relevance has to do with suddenly we have a declaration from Mr. Wade in this case, where he says roughly equal and then shows one alleged payment by Ms. Willis. No mention of cash, none. So I need to find out a little bit more about how suddenly we have this revelation about cash from the witness stand today.
Overruled.
So we part company there when you say no mention of cash. If I provided one receipt that didn't amount to what you would think was roughly equal, the rest of it is cash.
Well, did you in your declaration, sir, that was filed in this case, did you tell the court in that declaration that the expenditure that you had provided on behalf of Ms. Willis was paid for back by her in cash? Yes or no?
I believe that I did when I said that the expenses were split roughly evenly.
If you could point to me any place in your affidavit where you used the word cash, I would appreciate it. Take your time.
I didn't use the word cash. No, sir.
No, you didn't use the word cash, did you?
But I didn't say that she didn't give it to me in cash.
No, you just didn't tell anybody that you allegedly got paid back in cash, right?
No, I told everyone who asked.
Today.
Yes, sir.
Now, who else was with you, if anyone else, when you and Ms. Willis were discussing how you would be handling the financial component of the motion here today, that is the personal benefits?
I'm going to object to the relevance of that, Your Honor.
Mr. Gillen?
Well, the relevance is if they know that they're going to be called as witnesses, they've been subpoenaed, and they are discussing what they're going to say, we need to know that. The court needs to know that. It goes to the veracity of Mr. Willis and, Ms. Willis and Mr. Wade.
Overruled.
We didn't discuss how we were going to handle testimony.
My question was, when you were discussing with Ms. Willis in the conference room, when you were discussing what you perceived to be the situation concerning the benefits for the payments,
Yes, sir.
was there anyone else present?
No, sir.
How long did the meeting take?
Probably 5 or 10 minutes.
Did Ms. Willis tell you what she was going to say?
No, sir.
Did you ask her whether she had any bank withdrawals that would corroborate the assertion that she would pay you back in large sums of cash for these trips to the Caribbean, Belize, California, on and on and on?
Your Honor, again, I object. The proffer when the last relevant suggestion was made was that Mr. Gillen needed to know who else was there. These could be potential witnesses that he could cross-examine. That question has been answered.
Okay. I think it's still exploring possible bias or motive to shape his testimony, so overrule on that ground.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Willis, Mr. Wade, when you were having this discussion, did you ask Ms. Willis, do you have anything to support these cash withdrawals?
No, sir.
Did you ask her where she got the cash?
Here, this is the conversation. I produced my credit card statement that showed what Ms. Merchant in her filing was representing. That was the conversation.
Okay. So when she would pay you back in cash, were you aware of what her financial situation was? Do you know what?
No, sir.
Your Honor, I object.
Let's stop it right there. Now, please make sure you subscribe to my Instagram page. All right. I drop a lot of content over there as well. All right. A lot of content over there. So either the content goes up before I go live or after I go live, letting everybody know I got videos coming, right? So make sure you subscribe to my Instagram page. Support the channel. Also, the person that gives the biggest donation becomes the stream sponsor. My Cash App is below. We are not yet monetized, but only way that we can keep things going over here is if we receive donations like every other YouTuber that is not monetized. So please donate to the channel. We've had a couple of sponsors, stream sponsors before, pretty much the same person. He's one of the mods on the channel. We always appreciate when the mods come through and show love. Please make sure you subscribe to my Facebook page as well. Make sure you hit that like button, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. It's very much appreciated. Hitting that like button puts us in front of a broader audience. It brings in more people. All right. Please make sure you hit that like button. Show your support for the channel. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Now, where I come from, we say one thing. Never trust somebody that smiles all the time. Because what can you possibly have to be so damn happy about? And Nathan Wade, ever since he got on the stand, he just rubbed me the wrong way. Because he's always doing this right here. Always. Okay, I get it. You're trying to rub it in their face, showing them that they can't get to you. They done called you Mr. Wade, Mr. Willis. They're talking to you with no respect. But you never let them see you sweat. You never let them see you sweat. You never give any reaction whatsoever. Not even a smile. You keep a straight face. You never do what he's doing. Ever. You never do this. Never do that. Anybody that smiles all the time can't be trusted. It's pretty much like you're lying. So, again, what's so funny? I mean, he pretty much embarrassed himself. Because now they're asking him about the money. Hey, come on, man. I don't know. I'm 47 years old. Now, my time, all this time on the earth, I have rarely ever seen a woman reimburse a man for any vacation, whether she helped him earn the money or not. If you spent that money on that woman, you spent that money on that woman. And that's just that on that. The only thing she's going to tell you is thank you. A coworker, you take a coworker out for lunch, your coworker going to say, I could have paid for it, but she takes that meal and she go on back in the office. You say, no, don't worry about it. Yeah, it's on me. All right. They hardly ever take you back out for lunch. Hardly ever. And when you work, I work in corporate America. I work in corporate America, so I can speak to this. And we have a setup kind of similar to how they would have a setup in conference rooms when they have meetings and things like this. We have food catered to us. So if anyone's familiar with that, you understand you have food catered to you. So usually the office pays for these type of things. There are no private anything, all right? So either someone pays with a card, or the company pays for it. They sponsor it because they get corporate discounts with certain restaurants, like my office that I used to work in before I got promoted. We would buy restaurants, and what would happen is we could get caterings from all of the local restaurants because they wanted our business, because they wanted the employees to come there and eat lunch. Every restaurant would have lunch specials. Every restaurant would have some kind of catering service, especially for corporate, because so many companies were in the area. So you telling me they can't get the same thing and they work for the state? I'm just saying, this just makes it seem like it's just a little too hard to believe when this guy is sitting up here smiling like everything's all good and it ain't.
Well, Your Honor, it's relevant because we've been bombarded with a book, Find Me the Votes, in which...
What's at issue is the financial benefit, and if that plays a material interest in an actual conflict of interest. So I think that's relevant.
Thank you. Now, have you read the book, Find Me the Votes?
I have.
You have?
I have.
Okay. Now, in that book, Ms. Willis is telling the authors about how financially destitute she was, or kind of hitting down on the bottom as she was running for DA. Do you remember that part of the book?
So let me qualify the response. I've read the book in parts. I hadn't had the time to sit and read the book in its entirety.
Did you read that part about how she's telling the authors about how little money she had and how financially she was in bad shape prior to when she was running? Did you read that part?
No, sir.
Did you ever have discussions with Ms. Willis about her financial situation, which was in apparently in rough shape prior to her being elected DA?
No, sir. Ms. Willis made it clear that her financial business was just that. It was her business. I know nothing about her financial status. I know nothing about how she was faring before or after the election, or even now. I know nothing about her finances.
You're telling us that she didn't share that with you, but chose to share it with the authors of a book that's been published and printed and sold nationally.
I think that's a fair question for Cross.
I don't know that she shared it with the author. I don't know that the author is telling the truth. I don't know the author, so I don't know, sir.
Okay. Now, did you give an interview to the authors of that book?
I've given no interview, sir.
So you haven't talked to them at all, correct?
I haven't talked to any media.
All right.
None.
Now, as it relates to
I'd like to, though.
As it relates to, again, from your bank records that you're aware of, there'll be no cash deposits, right?
I didn't say that.
Are there cash deposits which line up with the money that you have allegedly received from Ms. Willis to, quote, pay you back for her part of the trips?
So here's the thing. In my bank records, you will see cash deposits. You will see check deposits. I can't say that you look through the bank records and you won't see cash deposits, because I have two sources of income, sir. Income comes from my private practice, my firm, and income comes from the contract here with Fulton County. During the course of private practice, occasionally I will have occasion to deposit cash into my account.
And in preparation for this hearing and your testimony, did you go through your bank records to find out if you could locate any cash deposits that would corroborate your testimony?
No, sir. I didn't go through my bank records at all.
Now, so what you would do, the money that you received, of course, the money that you received from your work for Fulton County, that's public funds, correct?
No, sir. It's private funds. It's my
Public funds pay you to do work for Fulton County, correct?
Tell me what the definition of a public fund is.
A public fund would be your funds, as in not fund, but funds, money. Public money, as in money from taxpayers, either in Fulton County or the state of Georgia, pay you to do the work that you're doing here in this case, yes or no?
One or the other, I'm certain.
You know which
is
one?
the case. I don't know which one, no, sir.
Now, you would take those public funds, and those public funds were then used, deposited in your account, and they were then used to pay on the credit cards for the trips that you would take with Ms. Willis, correct?
I object to the question insofar as the characterization of public funds. The witness didn't testify to that. I don't believe there's been any evidence to that. Once it's paid to Mr. Wade, it's private funds.
Well, the point of it is that you got
All
money.
right, Mr. Gillen's rephrasing.
Yeah, I'll read it. Let's break it down. You got money from Fulton County for the work that you do here, right?
Yes, sir.
You would send in invoices, and they would pay you money, correct?
Yes, sir.
Those money, that the private money, that money was money from either the citizens of Fulton County or from the state of Georgia, correct? That's what I mean by public funds. Agreed?
I guess I'm having trouble with the
Let's stop it right there. So one of the main things that I've learned since I've been in management is how important documentation is. So the way I was trained and the way I learned is that if it ain't documented, it didn't happen. And one of the main reasons this man is on trial, being scrutinized so heavily, is because of his documenting skills. His documentation was so poorly. He documented his business so poorly that they are now doubling back and basically scrutinizing everything that has to do with this case of election fraud. He block billed, which means he did not itemize the statements he sent in for reimbursement to be paid. He only sent in something saying he worked a total of 24 hours. They're trying to say, you said you worked 24 hours in a day. He's like, no, that's just the date it was completed. So basically, it was a total of 24 hours. The problem is you have to itemize it when you deal with state funds or grant funds. And also, you have to know your source of income. He's saying he didn't know. He don't know who's cutting the check as long as he's getting paid. How does that sound? Does it not sound bad? Does it not sound sketchy? I mean, think about it for a second. You can't accept a job. Let's say someone offers you $100,000 to do something. You're a landscaper, right? And someone says, I'm going to pay you $100,000 to landscape these yards, right? You can sit up here and say, well, I don't care where the money comes from as long as I get paid, right? Because your job is to do landscaping. It doesn't matter who's paying you as long as you get paid. All right. But you are an attorney. This man is an attorney. He's an attorney. He does not have the luxury of saying, oh, I don't know who pays me. I'm just getting paid. No, you know who's cutting that check because on the check is a name. When you deposit that check in the account, there's a name on there from the county of from Fulton County, from the state of Georgia, from somewhere. You've been paid before. And you can't sit up here and say, I don't know who's doing it. You just know you got paid. That's sloppy. And it's sloppy work. And you cannot have sloppy work in a profession as his. If you don't document it, then it never happened. And this is why he's being scrutinized right now, because his documentation is so sloppy. His documentation is so sloppy that It has literally jeopardized the whole case. He could have made himself look so good. He could have got up there with a straight face, answered all these questions without laughing like a little girl. Could have got up there with a straight face, answered all those questions with a straight face, understanding the severity of the matter. But instead, he chooses to laugh and smile because he's arrogant. Make sure you subscribe to my Twitter page. Right now, we're live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Please make sure you hit that like button. Please make sure that you are subscribed. You're hitting that subscribe button. We got 22 people viewing across all 3 platforms. Please make sure that you are hitting that like button. It really, really helps other people come to the video and it puts it in front of them. If you're watching this on the replay, please leave a comment. Please make sure you're subscribed and please make sure that you hit that like button. All right. Gracias la quina. Yes. He could have also saved himself by being a professional and submitting his billing the proper way. This is what makes it look so bad with what he did with Fani, because he just figured, well, I'm smashing her anyway. She's going to approve it anyway. I'm just going to submit this paperwork any kind of way to her. She's going to accept it. I don't got to really put nothing on it that I just, I worked, I completed 24 hours and they pay me. No, you always CYA. Always CYA. Nobody ever is going to have your back like you will. Let me repeat that. Nobody's ever going to have your back like you will. And if he would have simply got out of his own way and kept his professional mindset and submitted his billing correctly, this might not have been so much of a bad issue. All he had to do was show his work. We just had common reviews with some of my employees, and some of them had to go on caps, right? When we submit this documentation to HR, we have to make sure that we have proof that we've talked to these people before we put them on corrective actions, right? That means we have to document them. And they want to see months of documentations. So what do? I have to submit months of documentations. Months. And if I don't document it, it don't happen. If you do not document it, it does not happen. This is one of the main things that I learned. I got in trouble for this one time, and I learned my lesson, and I never did it again. And you cannot tell me that a practicing attorney who is a sitting judge does not know this. I mean, a sit-in judge does not understand how to bill, how to submit billing. You're a judge, and you are trying to prosecute the ex-president of the United States. All of your I's need to be dotted, T's need to be. Everything needs to be right. Everything needs to be right. You cannot be sloppy. Let's get back to the video.
The notion that the citizens of Fulton County have paid me any funds, I'm not certain the funding source. I can tell you that either the state of Georgia or Fulton County has written me a check.
So that would be, those two entities are public entities, correct?
Yes.
So that would be public funds, right? Right?
Yes.
And those public funds are from the same source that you would then use to pay out on your expenses for the trips that you took Miss Willis on, correct?
No, sir. As I testified to moments ago, I have income coming in from my law firm. I also have income coming in from the funds that we're here discussing now from either the state of Georgia or Fulton County and or both. I'm not certain what it is. So
What
to say
Sorry,
that-
I didn't mean to
that
cut you off. Go ahead.
so to say that I'm paying a credit card statement with funds coming from Fulton County or the state of Georgia would not be an accurate statement, because the funds could have very well come from my private practice.
What percentage of your income in 2022 came from money where you're working on this case or from your partners working for the Fulton County office?
In 2022, I would say 50-50.
You think 50-50 in 2022?
Yes, sir.
What about 2023?
Probably 60-40.
60-40.
Yes, sir.
So the money that would be in those accounts, at least 60% of those, in your view, would be public funds, that those monies were then used to pay for the expenses that you had incurred for the trips that you took Miss Willis on, the cruises, the Napa Valleys, the Bahamas, correct? Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now what you did is that when you signed on in November 1st of 2021, that's when you signed on to be counsel for the anti-corruption matters, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, as you know, in your engagement letter, it doesn't say that you're signing on and your scope of work is to work on the Trump special grand jury investigation, does it?
No, sir.
It says that you're signing on to work on anti-corruption, the anti-corruption unit matters, correct?
Yes, sir.
Matters with a plural, correct?
Yes, sir.
So in your contract, there is no specific reference to any specific case. Isn't that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, but you didn't sign on for the duration. There was a period, you have a contract, and then it would then expire, and then you would have a new contract, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, of course, the extension that you received, the first one was in November of 2021, and then you filed, there was a renewal in November the 15th of 2022. Is that right?
Sounds right.
Oh, okay. Now, that was right after you got re-upped by Miss Willis, right after you took Miss Willis to Aruba. Isn't that right? On that November the 1st, 2022 trip to Aruba and through November the 4th, 2022. Correct?
What does re-up mean?
Well, re-up means that you came back, your contract was up, and then on November the 15th, you and Miss Willis signed a new contract for you, right?
Again, look how they talk to him. Just look at it. Look how they talk to him. Re-up, using terminology like re-up. They're not even talking to him like he's an attorney. They're talking to him like he's a drug dealer. Re-up. So because he's a black man, all terminology applies, right? And here he goes, well, what's re-up? Define re-up. You know what re-up means, boy. Quit playing. And hey, see, this is what gets on my nerves. Stuff like this. First off, the most important thing is the terminology that he's using to him, talking to him like he's a common crook, like he's just some common petty dude off the street, not like he's an attorney of law. Those are things that he shouldn't have let slide. He should have said something about it, and he should have spoke out about that, because you using terms like I'm a drug dealer, I'm a re-up. You were re-upped. That was wrong. That was very wrong. Secondly, him trying to play dumb at that very moment was wrong. He should have said something. Because ain't no way you're an attorney at law and you've never heard the word used in that manner, in any manner, from anyone of color, especially in Atlanta, talking about re-upping or re-up or anything like that. I'm sure any person walking up the street can tell you what re-up means. So I say that to say that wasn't very smart, even though he did try to say define re-up. And then he will later on in his testimony say, I'm not going to answer to that. You should have said that at first instead of saying define re-up. You had to pick your battles wisely. And I think he just did a poor job of executing his testimony. But let's get back to it.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, when you were in taking her to the Aruba and on the cruises and the resort there, did you discuss your re-upping of signing an extension on your contract?
No, sir. But you make an excellent point. I'm glad you pointed that out. So the trip to Aruba, the contract was not in existence then.
No, you're saying that you were not
under contract.
In your contract. Did you send any invoices in for work that you did after your first contract expired?
No, sir.
You didn't?
No, sir.
No. When that expired, that was it. So then you're saying that after the Aruba trip, you get re-upped with a new contract, correct?
I signed a new contract. Yes,
Now,
sir.
was there any modifications on that contract? Did you get an extension on the cap that you were limited on the first one? Were there any modifications at all, Mr. Willis? Excuse me. I've done that again. I apologize.
I've been called worse.
Wait, I'm sorry.
I've been called worse.
Now, were there any modifications on that?
Do you have the contracts in front of you where you could?
I don't have it in front of me, but I think that
because I believe as the work gradually, as the time of the work gradually increased, the hourly cap would increase. In other words, starting out the investigation, it was impossible to anticipate the level of cooperation during the course of the investigation from some of the witnesses. So if you assume that there would be great cooperation with the witnesses in terms of interviewing and speaking and being voluntarily speaking with you, it doesn't take as much time. So after getting into it, realizing that most of the witnesses were not willing to speak or willing to turn over evidence or information, quickly you figure out that this is going to take a little more time than originally anticipated. And because of that, you have to compensate for those hours.
that's why there was a compensation on your extension?
Yes, sir. The caps.
A cap. Now, did Miss Willis review your invoices with you when you would submit them?
Never.
Did anyone ever question whether or not you worked 24 hours in one day and billed 24 hours in one day?
I've never worked 24 hours in one day and billed 24 hours in one day.
Okay.
And I'm glad you asked me that question because I'd like the opportunity to talk about that.
I think you should go ahead.
So if you look at that invoice where it says 24 hours in one day, it actually doesn't say one day. If you look at the top of the invoice, it says date completed. The date that's reflected on that invoice reflects the date that the work was completed. It doesn't say when it started. It just says this is the date that is completed. So if you go through the invoices, probably around the first 5 or 6, you'll see that that's the billing format. I would bill only after that particular task has been completed. That's why you see a 24-hour period with the one day there. I kind of wish some of the experts who had opined on that had called me and asked me the question, but there was never a billing of 24 hours in one day. Now, probably around the 6th or 7th invoice, you see the format changed. I started using a range so that it got less confusing, right?
I'm confused, so maybe you can correct it.
Okay.
In Exhibit 14, you've got down a specific day.
Mm-hmm.
Prepared cases for pretrial, November the 5th, 2021, 24 hours at $250 an hour, 6,000. Now, this wasn't about a range. It was about the work that you did on November the 5th, 2021.
No, Mr. Gillen, look at the top of the invoice where it says date completed.
What I want you to do, Mr. Wade, is focus on the date that you have down there and tell the court what you billed for on November the 5th, 2021. I thought it was already in. I thought 14 is in.
Again, Mr. Gillen, it says completed date completed. The dates that you see here are the dates that work was completed. So on November the 5th, I completed the task of.
Again, because of his sloppy billing, they're scrutinizing how he got paid. They're scrutinizing it. His paperwork is all sloppy. When you submit paperwork, when you submit invoices to be paid for something, it has to be itemized. I've had my own construction business before, remodeling houses, right? When you submit an invoice to a client, you cannot say remodel 20,000. It has to be itemized, what you did, right? Drywall, floors, everything has to be put on this invoice. As you can see how they're scrutinizing him, they can't understand it, or they're saying they can't understand it because he used block billing. And he used block billing because he knew no one was going to look at the paperwork. It was lazy and lack of effort. It was very lazy. And it just speaks to his egotistical mindset for the whole thing, for this whole case, because he knew he was smashing the DA. He knew he was smashing the DA. He knew wasn't nobody taking a look at this paperwork. So what does he do? He just go ahead and just send anything in, thinking no one's going to pay attention to it, no one's going to look at it, whatever. And lo and behold, we're looking at it. Millions of people are looking at it. And they put it's on the news. It's on Fox News, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, everywhere. Everywhere has this paperwork showing how competent your billing practices are. CYA. It's a legitimate thing. Never be so boneheaded to where you think you'll never get caught doing what you're doing. Every step has to be calculated and thought through, especially when you're doing something like what he's doing. When you're doing something like what they're doing, if they are actually funneling money for their own personal pleasures, you got to CYA. Cover your ass, man. And this is what happens when you don't do that. Now you got us all looking bad out here. You got us all looking like, well, look what happens when we put them in charge of something. Because that's what they're saying. When we give them positions of authority and them positions of power, look how they do. They steal and misappropriate the money. Look at him. I mean, look at him. Still with a smile on his face. This is the main reason this man had to resign from this case. He did not cover himself. I can see the fact coming out about him smashing the DA. Him and Fani having their little backroom romance or whatever. But your work product needs to speak for you. And once this is all said and done, I doubt this man will ever be able to get another client ever. He could have made a great living. He could have made a great living doing what he was doing, chasing ambulances, working claims, doing all this stuff. He could have made a great living doing all that. But he chose to go about it the wrong way. All for a check. All for a check. Look at him. All for a check. Why am I saying this? Because some of us will sell our soul for some money. Don't get me wrong. We work hard to provide for our families and for our future generations, our grandkids, and so on and so on and so on. But we cannot be so willing to do certain things that will make us look like buffoons, all in the name of a check, all in the name of a dollar bill. And I don't care who don't like what I'm saying. I don't care who don't like it. It's the truth. Everything can't be all about a dollar. You got to have some sort of dignity about yourself. You have to have some kind of professionalism about yourself. And you must maintain that at all times in the public eye. All this is a nervous tick. This is a dead giveaway. Anytime someone is being grilled and they're smiling and they're laughing, that's a sign of nervousness. If you notice, he has to keep drinking water, he keeps smiling, and he keeps laughing. That's a dead giveaway. It's a dead giveaway, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Look at him. Look at him. I mean, how is it funny that you're representing all of us right now, all people of color, especially Black people, and you understand getting grilled about your personal life. And this ain't even the worst of it. Donald Trump's personal lawyer hasn't even started interviewing him yet. Wait till he gets up here.
Preparing the cases for pretrial. That's the date I completed it.
Just
Then
read,
it took me.
just read if you would. Then my question was, read out loud the entry for November the 5th, 2021, and how many hours you billed that day. Just do that for me if you would.
I can't do that.
Excuse me, I believe the witness is entitled to answer his question. That certainly wasn't the question that Mr. Dillon asked.
All right, well, the question now is to read a certain entry, so.
I just read into the record, Mr. Wade, on November the 5th, 2021, how many hours did you bill the citizens of Fulton County for on that day?
This man is a judge. And he's acting like he doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing when when an attorney requests you to do something for the record. He's acting like he don't know how to do it. Look at him.
Hey, just read it out, please.
I completed the task on November 5th, 2021. 24 hours was billed at $250.
Now, when you talked about your relationship with Ms. Willis, and your testimony is that it began in 2022. You remember that testimony?
No, sir. Our relationship began in
Your romantic
2019.
relationship began in 2022? Is
Yes,
that
sir.
That's
Yes,
your
sir.
testimony?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, when you were re-upped on this contract, you had a romantic relationship already established with Miss Willis, yes or no?
In 2022?
You know, when
Yes,
you were
sir.
re-upped on November the 15th, 2022, you had a romantic relationship with Miss Willis.
I signed the second contract. Yes, sir.
Answer my question, please.
I'm not going to use the words re-up.
Signed up on we re-up or whatever you want to call it, your contract on November the 15th, 2022, you had a romantic relationship already existing with Miss Willis, yes or no?
I signed the contract, the second contract. Yes, sir. During the course of a romantic relationship.
Yes or no, you had a romantic relationship with her at the time that you signed up the extension on November the 15th, 2022, yes or no?
The answer to that question is yes.
Thank you. Now, this was before the special purpose grand jury released any report. Isn't that correct? Correct?
Are you asking me if it's before the work was completed or before the special purpose grand jury actually publicly released the report?
When they
Those are
released
two
the
different-
report. Your relationship with Miss Willis already existed when the special purpose grand jury released its report, correct?
At the time the report was released, yes, sir. But you
And-
understand that the report had the work had been completed prior to the release of the report. You understand that?
And your relationship with Miss Willis, of course, was prior to the indictment in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, if I may just ask my folks over here whether there's anything I need to clean up on. That's all the questions, Your Honor, I have. Thank you.
Your Honor, I do have a question.
Well, Mr. State, I think we went through.
No, I had asked you for permission, but he was gonna go first on this, and then I was gonna follow up. That's to affirm, allow him to go first. That's what I thought I had asked for.
All right, all right, with the understanding next time, we're going to keep going in order and not skip around the order. All right,
That's why I brought it up, because I thought that's what.
Okay. all right. Mr. Sato.
going to try to keep my questions very specific.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to also, of course, try not to go back into specific questions that
Now, this is Donald Trump's personal lawyer. He about to give him the business.
have already been asked. Okay.
Yes, sir.
When did your relationship with Miss Willis end?
2023.
Can you give us an approximation of, not by date, but by month?
Summer 2023. Forgive me. I'm a man. We don't do the date thing. Summer 23, I would say June, maybe.
Okay. Using the euphemism personal relationship, did you have any personal relationship at all with Miss Willis after the summer of 2023?
I want to make sure that I'm answering your question. Are you, because
Let me rephrase, if I might. The way it has been characterized in, for example, the response of the state, and I believe in your affidavit, is there's a difference between a personal relationship and a professional relationship, correct?
yes, sir.
Okay. I'm not talking about a professional relationship. I'm talking about a personal relationship. Have you had a personal relationship at all? And you know what I mean by that, after the summer of 2023.
Are you asking me if I had intercourse with the district attorney?
I was trying not to, but I guess if you're going to characterize it as that, the answer would be,
The answer would be no.
so it's been purely professional since the summer of 2023.
So that's where we're having issues.
Okay, you'll have to explain because I don't know what the issue would be.
No, I will explain to
Thank
you.
you.
You say personal. We're very good friends, probably closer than ever because of these attacks. But if you're asking me about specific intercourse, the answer is no.
How about if I change it from intercourse to romantic?
No.
During the direct examination, you made a statement, at least I believe I heard it correctly, that you, personal relationship, and now I'm talking about that characterized the sexual romantic relationship, was not a secret. Is that correct?
Wait. If you're asking me if people knew that we were having sex, no, they didn't.
I'm asking you whether the people knew that you were dating, whether you were romantically involved. You said that it was not a secret.
Oh, it wasn't a secret. It was just private. My mother knew, obviously.
Okay. Did anyone in the district attorney's office that has worked on this case know that you were dating or had a romantic relationship with District Attorney Willis?
I don't know what they knew.
Well, did you tell anyone?
No,
Do you have any knowledge of whether Miss Willis revealed it to anyone?
I have no clue.
So as far as you know from personal knowledge, no one in the DA's team knew, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So if it was a legitimate relationship, is there any particular reason why it was kept secret or private?
Wasn't kept secret. It was kept private.
And the purpose for that was?
It's what we chose to do.
I'm asking you why, though, not just because you chose. Why, if you're dating someone, why keep it private?
So, a few reasons. The first one is, and I want to say this respectfully in the right way, there are some people who are in the public eye who just don't like it, don't wish to be there. I have tried to have lunch or dinner with her publicly, and I can't count the number of people that would approach the table or would accost us as we're trying to walk into a restaurant and just have lunch or have a meal. It is not secret, it is private. We don't want the world asking questions or interrupting that time. So we weren't trying to keep anything a secret, Mr. Sadaf. There's nothing secret or salacious about having a private life. Nothing.
not suggesting that there was. I'm asking the questions. When you went on the various trips that have been outlined by both Mr. Gillen and by Ms. Merchant, did anyone in the district attorney's office know that the two of you were traveling on personal trips together?
To my knowledge, Mr. Sadal, no.
And again, that was for privacy, according to your testimony.
Privacy, yes, sir.
Did you and Miss Willis go to the Hapeville condo prior to your relationship starting the beginning of 2022?
Prior to having physical contact, prior to having intercourse, did we go to the Hapeville condo?
Again, you keep going to intercourse.
Let me stop it right here. Another big indicator that he's lying, right? And a lot of people know this. If you ask somebody a question and they repeat the question to you before they answer it, they're telling a lie. They're about to lie to you because they got to think about what they're about to say before they say it. So they repeat the question to themselves. And that is common sense. If someone has to repeat the question when you ask them, like if you say, hey, what do you want to eat today? And they say, hey, what do I want to eat today? They have to think about it. So they have to think about the response before they can put it out. Yeah. This is how you know he's lying. Because anyone, when you ask someone a question, they can answer you automatically, like boom. Like it's not that hard for them to answer the question. Because it's already here. It's already in here. So if I ask you a question and it's okay, let me say this the right way. People are different. People look different. But when you study people for a living, you start to understand that people might be different, but they react the same way. This is how you could tell someone who's being straight up and real and someone who's basically, full of baloney. Because you've seen it before. They act the same way such and such acted. They give you the same vibes such and such gave you. You can only hide behind a shell for so long. Eventually, you have to show yourself. And when you do things like this, you show your true form. And there are going to be a million videos, but none of them are going to keep it real like I'm going to keep it real. So make sure that you hit that like button, people. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're not going to sugarcoat anything over here. What we do here, we keep it real. And we review stuff like this, like we're in the barbershop. We just sit around and we just talk about it. And we're going to discuss on this channel how we can make each other look better, not only as black men, but as men in general. Because we have to do better than this when we are on international stages. We have to do better than this. Don't let this be you. Don't let this be you sitting in front of a crowd of people with a confused look on your face like you don't know what's going on because you've done some shady stuff. All right? Don't let that be you. Let's get back to it.
I'm trying not to, but fine. The answer to that, my question would be yes. Did you and Miss Willis go to the Hapeville condo prior to what I want to say November 1st of 2021?
Yes.
Okay, and the purpose for going to the Hapeville condo with Miss Willis prior to 2021 would have been what? Or prior to November 1 of 2021?
Could have been any number of things because at that time,
That's what I'm asking, so tell me.
yeah, could have been any number of things because at that time, she had a friend living in that condo. Miss Yurdy lived in that condo.
Okay. Maybe it was my question was poorly worded. Let me try again. Your answer is yes, prior to November 1st of 2021, you would have gone to the Hapeville condo and been there with Miss Willis, correct?
Yes.
And you would have been there, as you indicated, for many reasons, right?
Yes.
Can you give me, just list a few of the reasons?
Miss Yurdy resided there, went to visit her.
One of the things they leaving out is he was smashing Miss Yurdy too. Let's keep that in mind. So they didn't touch on that. I don't know why, but I mean, they get out like in Atlanta. So they didn't really touch on the reason why he might be in that area a lot because he was going there before Fani stayed in that condo. Yeah.
Her, maybe went to talk about a document that I received.
You would go to the condo
I
to
needed
talk
to
about a
see.
document that you received?
Absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely.
Any other reasons?
None come to mind.
None come to mind.
No, sir.
And would you say that was frequent? When I say frequent, do you think prior to November 1st of 2021, you were at the condo more than 10 times?
No, sir.
So it'd be less than 10 times.
Yes, sir.
So if phone records were to reflect that you were making phone calls from the same location as the condo before November.
And when they asked him this, they already had the phone records showing he'd been in that area. So he should have just answered truthfully. This is where they caught him up, right here.
1st of 2021, and it was on multiple occasions, the phone records would be wrong?
If phone records reflected that, yes, sir.
They'd be wrong.
They'd be wrong.
Okay. Where did you live during that time period?
Same place I live now.
Which is not in Hapeville, correct?
It is not in Hapeville.
It is north of Atlanta, the city of Atlanta, correct?
It is.
Okay. And any other reasons why you would be in the Hapeville area on multiple occasions prior to November 1st of 2021?
Let's see. The Porsche experience is there.
I'm sorry?
The Porsche experience is there.
Okay, so that would have been one. Any other reason?
Yes, sir. The airport is there.
Airport in Hapeville.
Yes, sir. Delta Airlines is headquartered there. Let's see. Restaurants there.
Okay. If that's your recollection, that's fine. I'm not asking you to try to remember everything, but if that's okay. Did you discuss your affidavit filed in connection with the response with Miss Willis?
No, sir.
Did you know, personal knowledge, whether Miss Willis reviewed your affidavit before it was included with the response?
I have no clue.
So as far as you know, personal knowledge, Miss Willis did not know what you said in the affidavit.
I didn't give it to her.
That's what I said. You have no personal knowledge.
No personal knowledge.
And as far as you know, no one else has told you that she did or didn't.
I hadn't asked anyone.
We've kind of worked this up a little bit, and the number.
And see, you can hear the difference in his responses when he's about to tell a lie versus when he knows the answer to the question. You can hear the total difference in the response. It's real sharp and quick. Boom, 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 boom. Versus, I mean, come on, this is an attorney who's a sitting judge and he can't answer a straight question. The moral of this story and the reason why I wanted to touch on this, and I'm going to end this live stream with this right here. is because we have to do better with representation. We can't have people like this representing us in the community, if that makes sense. We need more people to step up and step forward to speak out. That's why we need more people on YouTube to speak up and speak out without worrying about being criticized or talked about. See, the main thing that's important is that you speak your mind and that you keep it real at all times. That's what's important, not what someone's opinion of you is. Now, in this case, the opinions that will be talked about him is well deserved, because by far he's ruined his life. Because once this is over with, they're probably going to take his license, and then he still has to deal with the fact that he hid and lied about a lot of stuff to the divorce attorney. Now, they are trying to prove that they colluded with Trump's attorneys to find out all this information, because they filed documents on the same day, January 8th. So they're trying to say that they colluded together. And I can understand why, because it looks like it. Birds of a feather, you know the rest. But I'm not saying that this would justify him and Fani having their secret relationship. I think it might have been better if they weren't taking trips together, to be honest with you. Because they should have known that when it comes down to prosecuting Donald Trump, people were going to be watching and picking them apart at every little turn. And they were so arrogant about it that they just didn't care. And we need better representation than this in the public eye for people that are going to be speaking for us, instead of people who are being made to look like criminals and crooks. Because this is what they're going to say. They're going to say, well, you see what happens when we put people like them in charge of stuff? They do stuff like this. It's all about the money, because that's what we talk about, all about a bag. We do everything for money. Oh, you want to do something? Huh? Well, you got to pay me. This type thing. Yeah, I get it. Certain things are important, and you need to pay for certain things. Like if you want certain services or you need certain information, you can pay for that. It cuts the middleman straight out, right? But if it's not always the solution, then sometimes you got to dig in and grind it out. I mean, there's not always a shortcut to everything. But I'm going to end it on that. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Please make sure you hit that like button. Please make sure, if you're watching this on the replay, please make sure that you are subscribed, hit that like button, and leave a comment below. I will see you on the next video. Thank you all for coming through here, and I'm out.